everyone, and welcome to our daily demo. I have Mark here from SOE, Sony Online Entertainment, and you're here to show us Magic the Gathering Tactics.
That's right.
So tell us about this game.
All right, so Magic the Gathering Tactics is an online turn-based strategy game set in the world of Magic the Gathering, which of course is the popular card game that has been out since 1993. I've been playing for a long time. I know you're a player.
Yes, I do know how to play Magic the Gathering.
You have a garage full of Magic cards just like I do.
All right, let's jump in.
All right, well, let's jump in. So we've got a couple of different game types that you can play. Solo play, these are the story-driven campaigns. Pickup games, this allows you to play against other players of similar rank level to you. The tutorials, this of course tells you how to play the game. This is a tactics game, so this is different than playing just the card game or some of the digital implementations of the card game. So this kind of walks you through and shows you how this works. And then tournaments, we've got a very rich tournament structure. We're going to start with open tournaments, draft tournaments, and then bracket tournaments. So depending on what style of play you enjoy, we've pretty much got you covered here. We'll go ahead and jump into the story campaigns here. And this is a fun one here. This is the campaign screen. This shows us the map with the push pins that show you the current campaign chapter you're in, any daily missions you might have unlocked, and chapters that you've completed. As you complete a chapter, then you can go back and you can play that anytime that you want. All right? So this one, we're going to play Gilded Cage. And this is where we're dealing with an elf patrol. We have a little bit of story here that tells us exactly what we're going to encounter here, kind of give us a bit of an indication of what's going to happen. We can see what rewards are available for this, but let's go ahead and jump into play.
Also, you have objectives.
Objectives just basically tell you what we need to do. So let's hop on in and check this out, and I'll show you.
It's like a card game, but with like tactics, strategy, well, obviously with the title.
Exactly, and that's right. Movement is important, placement is important, flanking is important. Objects, there are things on the battlefield that you need to avoid. So when you come in, you're going to be the first creature to go. The initiative bar here on this side, this basically shows you all of the characters on the screen, who the current one is, that's the large portrait at the bottom, and then everything that's coming up next. Anything outlined in blue is yours, anything outlined in red is your opponent's. Over here, this is my spell dock. This is essentially the hand of spells that I drew at the beginning of this turn. Now, none of them are highlighted in green, so I can't afford to cast anything. I can't afford to bring any of these spells or creatures out yet. This is your mana wheel. This will show you at any given moment exactly how much mana you have in the chosen colors, right? And then the green grid here, this tells me where I can move. Moving ends my turn. So since I can't cast anything, my only option is to move. The objective here, up in the corner, is to move my planeswalker onto the exit space, which is way up here on the other side of the map, way over here. Now that means I have to walk around these obstacles. Meanwhile, my opposing spellcaster here is going to be bringing things out to surprise me and try to keep me from doing that. So I'm going to go ahead and just take a couple of steps and try to reposition, and let's see what he has to do. So he's now brought out some elf patrols, which the description told me I was going to encounter. Some of the numbers here, this 5, this represents my character's attack value. This represents my opponent's represents my health value. Now my planeswalker has a lot of health, not much attack power, kind of the way it is in the trading card game. My opponent's over here, say if I click on one of these elves, he has an attack power of 20, health of 30. So he's kind of buff, so I got to kind of watch out for him. All right, still don't have anything that I can bring out yet, so what I'll do is I'll step back just a little bit, try to position myself.
Around.
Yep. My opponent's turn is up next. He's going to be bringing more stuff. He's summoning an archer, and what he's going to start doing here, he's going to start building up some assets over here. I like to refer to this as kind of the storming of Normandy, because coming around this corner right here is extremely difficult, because he'll position archers up here, he'll position archers here, and you've got to round that corner to get him. So this is where the tactics come in. This is where the placement of objects, the placement of characters becomes very important. In the trading card game, things just go out in a line on the table in front of you, and pretty much everything attacks everything if you want. This way, it's more character on character action. All right.
So it's cast.
Yes. So now I can cast. So I have a couple options here. I've got a Rattlebone skeleton that I can bring out. So he costs 1 colorless and 1 swamp. I do have a swamp, and then I've got 2 islands. So it'll automatically take the swamp. It'll tell me I still need to cast 1 more. So I'll spend that, and I can now bring him into play.
Sweet.
So he summons into play now. So he's going to get between me and this elf here. He only has an attack value of 10. When he comes into play, he automatically goes into defense mode, so he gets a +30 on defense. This keeps him alive for 1 turn. The way that we simulate summoning sickness, which you know in Magic when you play something you can attack with and really use him the first turn, unless he has haste, is he goes to the top of the initiative order. So he can't do anything until he comes down the initiative. So all this stuff gets to go in front of him,
before he does.
which means he's probably going to get killed. But if nothing else, that'll help me with one turn. Exactly. So one thing that's important in this game is flanking. And by flanking, if you can surround a character and then attack, you can do critical damage, right? So we'll try to see if we can arrange for some flanking here. All right, my opponent is now moving his guys around a little bit. That's back to my opponent's spellcaster. And he's casting spells and doing things up there that I'm not going to like later on in this game.
Now, in order to build your spell book, is it similar to the online version of Magic where you buy booster packs and kind of get new stuff?
Yes, this is a blind repeat product. So the way that works is you'll purchase booster packs. They'll be randomly packed with figures and spells, a mix of both, and then there's common, uncommon, rares, and mythics. And then you'll put those into your collection, and then you'll use that to build your spell book. So the nice thing about this is you can change up your spell book, from one game to another. If you play through this mission and you get beat, like I probably will here, because I'm not paying attention to it, you can back out. You say, okay, I didn't really prepare for flyers, or I didn't prepare for direct damage, or I didn't prepare for one thing or another. You can make the tweaks. You can get more spells, purchase more booster packs. You can go to the bazaar. It's kind of an auction house setup that we have to kind of facilitate trading between players, and you can kind of build the things that you want to build, just like you can do in Magic the Gathering, the trading card game.
All right, cool. So when's this game coming out and on what platforms?
So it's coming out on the PC first, and we're looking for a holiday release on that, and then we're going to follow up a little bit after that with a release on the PlayStation 3.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much for coming by.
Thanks for having us.
And that was our look at Magic the Gathering tactics. Now on with the rest of our show.